Hello and welcome to another Trusted Teacher Tips. Being the support that we needed when we started out teaching, we're going to come up with a couple of tips here on questioning techniques, and I'm joined by Mr. B.
Hello everyone.
Okay, Mr. B, so we're going to talk about techniques for questioning a class full of pupils. I'll maybe get us started, and I'm just going to put a wee note in here to say a random number generator. Okay, so I'll explain that. Obviously, we use a wee bit of software online, and that lets us create a random number, and the pupils themselves we can number, and that lets us kind of choose at random a pupil to kind of fire a question at. The pupils don't know who's coming next. They don't know who's going to be asked a question, so it kind of keeps them on their toes. And it can be a wee bit of fun as well. So that's the first one I put in there, a random number generator. What about yourself, Mr. B? Have you got one?
Okay, so I've also used something like the random number generator, but I find sometimes, as you'll know, sometimes pupils in your class can get a wee bit stressed out in that situation.
Yeah.
So I came up with a wee strategy, borrowing from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire to deal with that. So pupils are given lifelines, and I usually give them lifelines like it could be phone a friend, where they can phone someone else in the class. Well, not actually phone, but ask someone else in the class. You could give them a hint, which was one of the options I gave them, and their final one was consult their notes. So I would kind of phrase it like that, where you could use the random generator, but then the pupils had a few lifelines so they didn't feel as overwhelmed. I find that can make pupils feel a wee bit more at ease and enjoy the questioning a bit more.
Yeah, I do like that. You're right. They can get a wee bit stressed. We're still using the random number generator, but we're including the lifelines in there, the phone a friend, asking for help, etc. No, I do like that. That's fantastic, Mr. B. Thank you. I'm going to come up with a really simple one. When a pupil's asked a question, if they get it right, then they choose who gets to answer the next question. And again, it can introduce a wee bit of humour and fun into the classroom. So how will we phrase this? If correct, who's next? So the pupil gets to choose who gets to answer the next question. And they can introduce a wee bit of competitiveness as well. They want to get it, typically they want to get the answer right so they can get a friend to have to answer the next question. If correct, who's next? And it keeps the guessing going. So that's something that can kind of come in really handy in the classroom. Mr. B, over to you.
Another one I use, and it's something I picked up during one of my teaching placements. It's called, I think they called it the hot seat. So basically, you get a pupil to sit or stand at the front, and they would hold a show me board above their head. And what you would do is you would write for example, a business term on it, and then the rest of the class on their show me boards would draw a picture or write a clue, and the pupil would have to try and guess what the term was. And then if they got it right, they'd have to explain it, and then they could choose the next person to go up. So it's a bit like the kind of the app Who Am I or Heads Up, where they have to try and kind of guess what the term is.
Oh, that's really good. I kind of can introduce a funny element in there. Yeah, I really like these ideas actually. I'll come in next, and it's not a kind of far removed from what we've done before, but the random letter generator. Yeah, I like my randomness. I'm going to put in here with lifelines because I like that idea. Obviously, that's just it generates a random letter, and if your surname starts with that letter, you get the question. And if there's more than one person in your classroom whose name starts with that letter, obviously we ask 2 questions or 3 questions, depending on how many pupils' surname answer starts with that letter. So the random letter generator, but I'm stealing your idea here, a wee bit of skill stealing. I'm going to put in there with lifelines as well, because I really like that idea.
Okay, so our target was 8 today, so we'll get 5. Another one I want to throw in, it's a good revision technique called snowballing, where you get a pupil to write a piece of information about a topic, they scrunch the paper up and throw it to someone else, and then the class just keep adding information until they can't add any more. It's a good way to just add additional knowledge and building people's ideas.
Snowballing, that is completely new to me.
Just scrunching up a bit of paper. It wouldn't be appropriate during COVID times, but you can adapt it, I'm sure, in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, again, a fantastic idea. Excuse me. And I can see how it can be tweaked with different classes. So that's fantastic. We've got 6 there already.
I've got one more I can think of, so if you've got one more, then we can get it right.
Well, if you want to go next then, Mr. B, and give me a bit of thinking time.
Okay, so my one, it's for want of a better name, I called it Question Pong, which is similar to beer pong, but instead of beer, the cups have bits of paper with questions in it. So the pupils have to throw the ping pong balls into the cup. And if they get it into the cup, their opposite number has to answer the question. So again, it introduces a wee bit of fun, but they have to answer topic related questions.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Question pong, I put the exclamation mark so we focus on the question and not the beer aspect of it. But yeah, that's a fantastic idea, Mr. B. You've got great techniques for questioning your pupils. I don't really have any more that I actually use on a day-to-day basis. There's other ones that I've heard of, but there isn't any other ones that I've really tried. I'm certainly going to be experimenting with some of the ones we've mentioned on here, snowballing and the lifelines aspect and question pong. Excuse me. I think these are fantastic ideas. Is there anything else you can think of, Mr. B?
I think you should also throw, just for the last one, Kahoot in there. Kahoot's something that's quite commonly used now and a good way of doing some quick fire questioning, and the pupils really enjoy it no matter what the topic is.
That's great thinking on your feet, Mr. B, because I use Kahoot. I use it frequently, and yet I've forgotten about it as a questioning technique. But of course, that's exactly what it is. I think there's lots of these online tools which we really can exploit as teachers and bring variety into our teaching.
That's quite a solid list. We got 8 there.
Yeah, I like these. Some of these I haven't heard of before. I've been teaching a while, so I'll certainly take a few things away from this.
Well, that does for today then.
I think so. So that was Trusted Teachers. You can see how it's about being the support that we needed when we started out teaching. Hopefully there's a few ideas people can take away. So thanks for that, Mr. B. And we'll speak soon.
I think that went well.
Stopped it.
Oh, no.
Right.